Hey, Red Rod Bob here for Ocean City Cruisers 21st Annual Memorial Day Car and Truck Show. To all our veterans out there, we say thank you for your service. Hope you enjoy the show. Please don't forget to subscribe. But for now, just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Hi, I'm Phoenix from Felton, Delaware. This is my 68 Mustang GT, named Loki. I've had it, it'll be 3 years in September. We got it in 2020 from Bridgeville, actually. I'd been going to car shows for a couple years with my dad, and I really loved it. And I'd wanted a car of my own to drive and stuff. So I've always loved Mustangs since I was a kid. So we went looking for one, and we found this one, and it was in reasonably good shape. It had floorboards and it run. Um, I put it back to the original color. It was red when I got it, so I put it back to the Highland green. It's got a 302 C4 automatic. Both are the original transmission and motor. I haven't done a lot in way of modifying it. I've tried to keep it mostly stock. I've personalized it a bit, and that's about it. So, yeah.
Oh, now you want the truth?
Thanks.
She bugged me till I bought it. So anyway, yeah, she loved going to the shows with me and stuff. So I decided it was time to buy her own car, and she loves it. So that's all that really matters to
We're
me.
going to get back to you in a second. Let's take a walk around it.
All right.
Did you do anything to the engine?
When we got it, it had sat for 10 years. So there was a lot of, the wiring was a nightmare. It would give electricians nightmares. So we did a lot of cleaning that up. I ended up having to replace the valve covers last year. One of them developed a crack. Put some chrome things on it and everything. Other than that, we didn't have to rebuild or redo anything. The power steering was the only thing we had to really rework because Ford power steering is a nightmare. So the engine's pretty well untouched. I do have documentation that indicates it was rebuilt once, and that's pretty much the only major thing that was done to it that I know of.
So anything in the interior?
Well, my dad, we wanted to put a newer radio in it to connect with my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually took the original, because it had the original AM, cut the bezel to fit that one in there. So that was the main thing. The seats are original as far as I know. We replaced the carpet. Did the back piece there with the speakers because we had to replace the speakers. Replace the steering wheel. Just kind of minor things, really. The trunk is custom. Wholly. That was his project. Um, to close it in, and I have some storage compartments like under there and under here. My spare tires under there. I have lights. I don't know if they'll show in the daytime. No, they won't. But yeah.
So what are you into?
Yes, the car's named Loki after the Marvel character because I'm a huge Marvel fan. And this car was originally green, and I put the gold stripe, which are kind of Loki's colors. So I got the vanity plate and anything I find Loki-ish, I stuff in here.
Well, the best part about it is that it's great to see a young person start loving cars because when we're gone, you guys got to carry the flag.
Yeah. I have a blast with it. I love talking to people, kind of hearing the stories. A lot of them go, my brother had one, my dad had one, my friend had one, or I had one, but I haven't seen one in decades.
Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
All right, this is my name is Alan Cody. I bought this Torino for one reason. I had one when I was a kid, and I wanted another one. So I had a hard time finding one that wasn't junk. This one is pretty decent, was pretty decent when I bought it. Now I have had to replace the motor. It's got a 302. It was originally 302, but it's a 347 now, and I enjoy this car. I love this car. I've just had so much fun in it. I've had her now, I guess, 5 years, and it took me a couple years to get her together, but she's done me well. I bought it off eBay, believe it or not. I'm going to say it's hard to believe you bought this car off eBay. It didn't look like this. I've repainted it and stuff. And the car was in pretty good shape when I bought it. The interior was done. The bumpers were all re-chromed and stuff in her. She's got a 5-speed in her instead of a 4. It's got 410 gears in it. And I just love this car. I'm not much of a talker, I'm telling you. Not unless somebody's answering me. Talking to myself is hard. I did do the trunk in this myself. I do this. I don't do it for a living. This is something I just wanted to do because I like it closed up. Each side has a compartment in it. The bottom has a large compartment in it, which I can show you. I keep, yeah. Well, I don't like the trash sitting around, so I told her, I says, what I'm going to do, here's one of the side compartments if you want to see it. I'm having a little trouble with my glue for the Velcro sticking for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm about to change it to something else. Oh, and this light lights up, believe it or not.
There you
See? But yeah, just little things I like doing to it. Make it a little different.
There you go.
I
And the best part of all is you get to share all this time with your daughter.
Oh yeah, she loves this. My daughter, I'm glad I have her to go with me, I'll tell you. Because I don't like going by myself. Having someone to go with and talk with and annoy me and make me pay for everything, but that's all right. I can deal with it. But we've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you both.
You're welcome. Okay. The reason for this car was my first new car that I bought was a 69 Cobra, the Torino type Cobra. But now it wasn't the Torino because they made two different ones. They made a 428 CJ Torino. It wasn't a Cobra. The Cobra, the only markings on it was it had the markings on the snake on the front fender, the snake on the trunk. Easy way to tell if it was a Cobra or not originally was it had staggered shocks under it, which people don't realize. But the original Cobras had staggered shocks on them. But I loved that car, and I'll tell you what, I'd give anything to have it back. But forget it. It's a long gone thing. It's probably been junked 40 years ago.
And you never did find a top end on that car either.
No. That car, I tell you what, she had 120 on the speedometer, and if you ever seen the speedometer and then Torinos and stuff, they got about a 2.5 inch distance between 120 and zero. And I run her up past zero and back up 30 mile an hour on the other side, and she was still going, but she got too late, so I had to let off. But she was a runner, I'm telling you.
Again, thank you guys for both sharing it with us. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So we're here at the car show, and this gentleman didn't want to be on video, but he told me I certainly could take a look around it. It's his 1968 Buick Riviera. As you can see, it says original survivor, Factory air, 34,000 documented miles, mostly original paint, a 430 cubic inch engine, 360 horsepower, 3 owners. So you can see that right there. It is a very cool looking car. So we're going to take a look around. As you can see, the headlights flip down when they go on. They are vacuum. Interior looks like it just came out of the factory. And there you go, a 1968 Riviera. Beautiful car.
My name's Jim, and I've owned this car for 44 years. It's my very first car. I bought it before I got my driver's license. I was coming home from work one night, a cook at the Holiday Inn in Laurel, Maryland, and rode my bicycle past this car and fell in love with it and had to have it. So I've had it 44 years, and my wife calls it the first wife. It's been a huge pleasure. My kids love it. My grandkids love it. They love to clean it and ride in it, especially down the boardwalk. It's just been a real family pleasure to have.
And what is it?
It's the 1972 Formula Firebird.
And which size engine?
It's got a 350 in it. I even have the original receipt from when I put a deposit on the car and the receipt when I paid it off. It's been a lot of fun to have. So all you young kids out there, keep your first car.
Did you paint it as well?
It's been painted about 3 times. This paint job's 16 years old. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dave. This is my 66 Nova hardtop. I bought it in 1978 and gave it to my son for his 16th birthday. A year later, he was rear-ended when he was stopped for a bus, a stop school bus, and at that point, after the accident, we repainted the car in 1978, and we had Jack Strader's Upholstery do the upholstery work in the trunk and inside the cabin in 1979. And you're looking at the original paint and upholstery as it was done in 78 and 79, with the exception of the hood, which is the only thing that's been repainted. It has a 305 cubic inch engine, which has been in it since the time I bought it. I put a 204R overdrive transmission in it several years back. The wheels are American Racing with red lines, and the modifications for the engine are simply a cam and manifold and carburetor. We put an aluminum radiator in to make sure that everything would stay cool, and did some chroming work, and that's what you're looking at right now. The hinges, which are kind of unique, are from Ring Brothers out of Wisconsin. And they stabilize the hood so that you don't, once you get it aligned, why it stays that way. It doesn't move around or doesn't chip the sides of the fenders or the edge of the hood. That squeak you hear is the original squeak that was in the car when I bought it. We had the dual exhaust system put on shortly after we bought the car, and used the glass pack mufflers, which were very popular at that time. But to tell you the truth, that is still the original exhaust system. And I couldn't believe it had been on the car without rusting out that long. So I asked the installer, how come the exhaust system lasted so long? So he said, check the pipes on the back and you'll see that they're made out of 1/8-inch steel. And they are, and I don't think they'll ever rust out. And the mufflers are the same way. Mm-hmm. Sure. As I said, the upholstery was done in 1979. Uh, the steering wheel is aftermarket. I put a small Nova emblem in the horn button just to give it a little character. The gauges are Speed Hut gauges, and the speedometer works with the GPS. So I get the signal from the satellite for the speedometer, so it's right on. I've always put a rose in the car for as long as I can remember, and we have a couple of other cars, and they also carry a rose with them. It's kind of a trademark of mine when I go to a show. Put a rose in.
Thank you for showing it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sheila. This is Donnie Cagle in my car. It's a 1957 sedan delivery. He went looking for a Nomad or a 55, and we found this and fell in love with it. Decided it was going to go home and be our next project. And he rebuilds it from the ground up, does his own body work, his own mechanic work. She's in primer right now. One day she's going to be a beautiful off-white. And we do it because we enjoy it. We enjoy the people. We enjoy the camaraderie with other car show people. And it's just fun and a good time. It's a nice hobby to have. Keeps you out of trouble and keeps you on the road.
I see it's custom upholstery.
Oh, yes, that's our custom upholstery for right now. Eventually, Jack Strader will get his hands on her and get her all beautiful. But right now, I can throw them in the wash machine and clean them up. We hope to one day put a nice wrap on where the back windows would be, with maybe an old-time gas station or an old Tasty Freeze, and all the cars that he's built riding down the road to cover the backside. The grandkids seem to get a big kick out of it. They're watching it grow. They come to the house and want to know how the project's progressing.
Well, thank you very much for sharing it with us.
Thank you.